Hey everyone, it's Rob Litton here from drumsandword.com, and today I want to show you how to play the song Jesus of Suburbia by Green Day. A few years back I uploaded some freebies onto YouTube teaching you the first part of the song and then also Tre Cool's drum solo that occurs near the beginning of the song. And then I completely forgot about completing the series. So today I'm going to complete the song for you as a free lesson. You can download the full 8-page PDF drum chart that accompanies this lesson plus the previous two. You'll find a link beneath this video linking you to the drum chart, the full drum chart, plus the previous two videos I did on this lesson. But today we're going to start from where I left off those years ago on page 3 of my drum chart entitled Part 2, City of the Damned, and I've written in brackets tempo drops by half. So we're half the tempo we're playing the previous section in. Let's crack on. Just to let you know, this song is really for the more advanced drummer, so I won't be spending a whole lot of time talking about techniques. The song's quite long. I don't want this video to be too long. It could be very long if I went into explaining every single bar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to breeze over some sections that I'm presuming you're familiar with. You don't need me talking too much over the top of. So, like I said, it's more of an advanced lesson this, but hopefully you'll be able to pick out some stuff from it if you're an intermediate or even a beginner drummer. There are parts of this song that any drummer can play, and you can sort of take out your favourite bits and work on them individually. So, the first line, the first section, this is probably the busiest section of the song. We've got loads and loads of ghost notes going on, and drags with the left hand. So the best thing I can do is really just to play each bar for you. There are a few repetitions of sections going down the page, so it isn't all random. He does repeat ideas, but each bar can be slightly different with the placement of the bass drum and the ghost notes. So the first bar, I'm going to play slowly for you. He's playing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and that's our main rhythm, 8th note, snare drum on 2 and 4. And then we're adding extra bass drum notes and extra ghost notes and snare drum notes around that. So the first bar, without the crash cymbal on beat 1, 1 and a 2 and a 3 E and a 4 and a 1. So a bit slower. 1 and a 2 and a 3 E and a 4 and a 1. 1 and a 2, a 3 E, a 4. See how we get that ghost note, a 3 E, into a normal volume snare drum. If you can't play the ghost notes quietly, then just leave them out, otherwise it won't sound like the recording. If you play them all loud, then it won't sound like the drum beat Tre's playing. He played those ghost notes quietly. Any drag you want to play just as a ghost note instead of a drag, that's fine as well. You don't have to put a drag in there every time. The second bar's similar, so I'm just going to play through these bars for you slowly. 1 and a 2 and a 3 E, a 4, a 1. Is it in fact exactly the same as the previous bar? Yeah, so we do get repetition there. That bar's exactly the same. Bar 3 goes into a crash cymbal on beat 1, and beware of that surprise snare drum note on the E of beat 1. A 3 E, and then a 3 E and a 4 and a 1. So 1 E, a 2, a 3 E, a 4, a 1. And the last bar, 1, a 2, a 3 E, a 4 and a 1. And this is what I think Tre plays. He plays these two snare drum notes at the end as right left leading into the next bar. You can play it as a double left, but I just get the impression from hearing it, and the way I would probably play it is it sweeps into the crash cymbal nicely as well as two little single strokes, right left. So those two 30-second notes, the right left, take up the space of 1/16th note at the end. So if we play it up to speed, you could play it as a double. That's fine as well, but I think giving it as a single stroke gives those two notes a little bit more definition. So 1, a 2, a 4. Like I said, it goes into a crash cymbal on line 2 here, where I've written half open hi-hats. So Tre goes between half open hi-hats and crash cymbals for the rest of this page, and then closed hi-hats as well. So each 2 bars kind of changes. So the first 2 bars here on the second line, half open hi-hats. The first bar, 1 and 2 and 3 E, a 4 E, up. So bass drum's falling in between hi-hats there. 1 and 2 and 3 E, a 4 E, a 1. And like I said, this video's going to be too long if I go and explain every bar slowly, so I'm going to have to sort of go through these a little bit faster now. The next bar, 1 and 2 and a 3 E, a 4. 1 and 2 and a 3 E, a 4 and a 1. So 1 and 2 and a 3 E, a 4, 1 E. And we go 1 E, 1 E and a 2 for this next section, which is brackets closed hi-hats. That first bar, 1 E, a 2, a 3 E, a 4. So the same as the line above, really. Excuse me. Then the last bar, 1, a 2, a 3 E, a 4, 1. And we've got those 2 little notes at the end again, going into the next line. So the next line, half open hi-hats. We got 1 and 2 and 3 E, a 4 and a 4 and a 1. A 4 and a 1. Next bar, 1 and 2 and 3 E, a 4 E and a. So 1 and 2 and 3 E, a 4 E and a. Flam there on 4. 4 E and a. Bass drums in between on the E's and U's. 4 E and a 1 E and a 2. We're then going into this cool section next where we go up to the crash symbol, doesn't matter what crash you use, or the ride symbol. And we get, for this third bar, 1 E and a 2. It's all single bass drum foot. It's not so fast your bass drum foot can't play that. 1 E and a 2. We're playing 1 and 2 and then on the snare drum on the of 2. 1 E and a 2, a 3 E and a 4, a 1 E and a 2. That last bar, 1 E and a 2, a 3 E and a 4 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 4 E and a 1. So there's 2 bars, 1 E and a 2, a 3 E and a 4, a 1 E and a 2, a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. By the way, this song just gets easier because this section really is probably the most complicated to explain. There are loads of notes going on here, perhaps a little bit tricky to read as well. But once you get the patterns from the page, you don't really have to read it anymore. You've learned the parts from memory. So the next section, let's just play that bar for you. We're on the 4th line, half open hi-hats, 1 and 2 and 3. So we get halfway through the bar this time, a 3 and 4 and a 4 and a 1. The next bar, 1, a 2 and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. So very similar to the line to the bar above it, the line above it. 1, a 2 and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2. And then those 2 bars are exactly the same as we did for the previous section. The next line, 3, 4, 5, 5th line. First bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and very simple. That second bar has a little drum fill in it. We get, I'll keep the hi-hat closed for now, 1 and a 2 and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. And make sure you hit metal sticks, metal parts of the drum kit just like that, because it sounds great, doesn't it? Sarcasm. So that bar again, 1 and a 2 and a 3 E and a 3 E and, so it's a 3, you can use high tom instead, a 3 E and then bass drum on the giving your hands time to come back to the snare drum to play 4 E and the outro of the fill. So 1 and a 2 and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. Into a crash? Yes, into a crash. 1 and a 2 and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. Lovely little simple drum fill that. And then let's go to the next bar. 1, a 2, a 3 E, a 4, a 1 E, a 1 E. So this time we get a slight little ghost note there on the last bar of that line. 1 E. It's not loud, it's not 1 E, it's 1 E. If you want to play it note for note, then you've got that option. Stuff like that you don't have to worry about. If you're playing onto the song and you forget that's a ghost note, it doesn't matter. 1 E, a 2, a 3 E, a 4, and... Okay, then is it worth me going through all the bars after that? They're very, very similar after that. I've gone through the main variations. I think I will. So that next line, half open hi-hats, 1 and 2 and 3 E, a 4 E. We've done that bar. We've done that bar. I think we've done all the rest of the bars now. That last bar of line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is 1 and a 2 and a 3 E, a 4. 1 and a 2 and a 3 E, a 4, and then the last 2 bars are very, very similar to, last 2 lines, sorry, very, very similar to lines 3 and 4. In fact, they're probably identical, knowing Tre with his ability to come up with a drum part and sort of keep to it. I'm just scanning the page to see if they are the same. Yeah, I'm going to presume that you're okay with that. So I'm going to move on now, but before I do, let me now play for you what we got so far. So starting from the top of page 3, I'm going to play you the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, first 5 lines. I'm going to leave out the bottom 3 lines because, like I said, they're very similar to the previous 5 lines I just went over already. So here's what those first 5 lines sound like played up to speed without a microphone on so you can hear just the drums. Here we go. So on to page 4, half open hi-hats, and we've got this bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we go into this drum fill section where we're playing groups of 3 between the hands and feet. We're playing snare and crash and 2 bass drum notes. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a. The fourth note, however, is 4 E and a, 4 E and a. Open hi-hat, floor tom and snare drum. So 1 E and a, 2 E, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. And then the last bar, 1 E and a, 2 E, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and, 4 E and. So before we had 4 E and a, and the next bar is 4 E and we go straight into part 3 called I Don't Care, where I've written note. The 8th note's count above turns into the quarter note count below. There is also a tiny increase in tempo as well. So we've gone from counting 1 and 2 and to 1 and to going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. That's too fast. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Yeah, that's what I meant. So the 8th note's gone from 1 and 2 and 3 and the new tempo is going to be. So we've gone from 1 and to 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. We changed the 8th notes into quarter notes and sped them up ever so slightly. But again, if you got the song, you can play on the song and sort of get the tempo for yourself by listening to the music enough. But it's very subtle and hard to explain, but there's a slight increase in tempo. And we're going into this new section out of nowhere. This is my favourite part of the song. So we get, we go into what I've written as bars of 6/4. So each bar has 6 beats to it. So we're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're playing some triplet ideas. So we're counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Sort of hear that and that swung lilt in your head. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we get 1 and 2 and 3. I'm just getting it in my head first so I can sort of hear it and then I can explain it. Da, 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 da. Yeah, so it's 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6. It's going to be hard for me to count this. I'm not used to counting sixes. 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6. Boom, bap, boom, bap. All the ands there, the triplets, the snare drum on the and of 1 and the bass drum on the and of 2 are swung. They're not there. My right hand wasn't changing tempo there, it was just the swing lilt changing. So that first bar, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6 on the crash there. The next bar is exactly the same except we get 4, 5, 6. The snare drum's on the ends. Bar 3 is the same as bar 1, and then bar 4 we have a drum fill. So we get 3, 5, 6, 1. So it's 3 groups of triplets, 4 triplet, 5 triplet, 6 triplet. That's hard to count using words. You can sort of feel it. Da 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 da. And the way Tre does it, and you can see him play it live this way, is he comes out. If you're starting the groups of 3 triplets, 9 notes with your right hand, you're going to come out with your left hand. So it goes up to the crash cymbal with the left on the beat 1 of the next line, but then your left hand has to come down then quite quickly to play the swung lilt note of the and of 1 on the snare drum. I'll show you what I mean by looping the last bar of line 1 with the first bar of line 2. 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 and 2 and 3. Let's go from beat 4. 4, 5, 6, 1 and 2. 4, 5, 6, 1 and 2 and 3. If I play up to speed, to loop that round and get comfortable playing, you're going to need to do that because you're coming out of the drum fill with your left hand if you want to play the note exactly like Tre does. So the next line is exactly the same as line 1. Line 3 is exactly the same except the drum fill at the end of the line is different. So before we go on to that, let's just now play what we got so far. Just the first 3 lines of page 4, just so we can get the change going into the new section right. So I'm going to play the first line and then the first 2 lines of part 3 up to speed. So line 3 has a different drum fill at the end, like I said. We've got the bass drum on beat 1. We start on the high tom. 4 triplet, 5 triplet, 6 triplets. That's the way it goes round. So loop that round. It's coming back into the next line. Going back to the open hi-hat there, not staying on the crash cymbal. That's lovely, that's good fun that. The next line has a different drum fill at the end. That drum fill is 4 triplet, 5 triplet, 6 triplet. Quite random. That's a random drum fill there. It's good fun to get it going though. I haven't practiced this one before, so it's the first time I'm trying to play it. This is how I'd go round, looping it round. If I had more time, I'd practice it on my own without recording the video. But there, that's how you play that tom drum fill. That's really good fun. The last line is exactly the same as the previous lines, except notice that last bar where we had the 4 triplet, 5 triplet, 6 triplet, the bass drum is played on all 4 beats. And we're going into this new section where we stay on the crash cymbal. So he comes out of that, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. That's how I play it. Left, like that, stay up on the left hand. We're going to play a little bar of 2/4, dan dan, 1 2, and then we're into this new section, which is again slightly faster than the previous section. So we've gone from a sort of subtle change in tempo there, but again you've got the song to help you with that tempo change. So that first line is surprisingly, we come out of that drum fill. Just play 2 beats, 1, 2, and then we're back to 1. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, we're playing quarter notes on the crash cymbal. Boom, boom, bap, bap, boom, boom, bap, bap, boom. And we're playing that pattern. All the hands on the bass drum and snare drum are swung. We're playing it as triplets. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Beats 3 and 4 every 2 bars are 3, 4. Bass and then bass, snare and crash. And then the 2 bars just get repeated. Boom, boom, boom. So the last bar of that page, we've got this drum fill. Really nice idea this. Loads of triplet ideas in this song. We get 1 and 2 and 3 triplet, 4 triplet. And we play 3 on the 4 tom. The hands naturally lend themselves to moving to the snare drum, leading with the left hand, which is nice. Right, left, right, left, right, left. And we go straight into closed hi-hats. There's no crash cymbal. Where the drum beat from the previous section, where we're playing up on the crash cymbal, just continues, but on the closed hi-hats. So the last 2 bars of page 4. Again. And I just accidentally played a crash cymbal there. It's just so instinctive, isn't it, after a drum fill? But notice there's none there. So up to speed. So the closed hi-hat section on page 5, same drum bit like I said, The crash cymbal on 3, 4. The parts on 3, 4 every 2 bars are played on the crash cymbal. Like that, and this gets repeated for each line. Each line is exactly the same. So let's go back to page 4. I'm going to play the last line of part 3, I Don't Care, into the crash cymbal section, the last 2 lines of that page, and then over to page 5, say the first 2 lines, so we get an idea of what that sounds like going from section to section. So back on page 5, the heavy crash / China cymbal. So if you've got a China, then my old China, then you can use a China cymbal. If you ain't, then you can just use the crash. That's absolutely fine. Or a ride cymbal, but I think Tre, that's why I've written it. I think Tre's using a China in this section. I can't remember. I would have written it for a reason. You'd hope. So this section continues with the same previous drum beat. Except we're back on the crash cymbal, or China. The last line, because that section is 2 lines long, the second line, we've got a drum fill at the end of the 4th bar, and it's just simply 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3, 4. Boom, boom, boom. That's the bass drum on 1, 2, 3. Into the half open hi-hat section. So it starts with a crash cymbal on beat 1, and then we're on the open hi-hats playing exactly the same drum beats. Now that last section, the second line of the half open hi-hats part, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Notice there's 6 bars on that line. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 bars of the drum beat get repeated. The 2-bar pattern gets repeated twice. But then bars 5 and 6, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4, 5, 4, 1. So what happens over those 2 bars, we're playing snare, crash and bass on 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So get ready with beat 4 there. 3, 4, 1. I play it that way, right, left, right, into a left hand crash on beat 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And then we're into the next section, part 4, Dearly Beloved. So the tempo stays the same. We get 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. So we get this, and I just use this sticking left, right. And it's swung triplets, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Every 4 bars. So starts with 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. And I play the bass drum on beat 1 like Tre does there. And 1. That gets repeated for the next 2 bars. So we get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. Goes over to the next page, page 6, where 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. And then the last 2 times, it's every 1 bar. So from bar 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. The last bar, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. So get ready with that snare drum backbeat on beat 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. We're into this new section. So let me play the Dearly Beloved bit counting out loud from the beginning of the page. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So you've got to kind of like that. I've written for this next section, Tre does not play every ghost note below and sometimes changes them to drags instead of single ghost notes. So we'll talk about that in a second. We've got this 2-bar drum beat which gets repeated for the whole rest of this section. It starts with the floor tom and bass drum on beat 1. But then when it repeats, it's just bass drum on beat 1. So the first bar is 1, 2, 3, 4. No right hand stuff going on here with the hi-hat, for example. We're not leading anywhere. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Second bar, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, left, right, left. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and don't play it like that, because that's not what Tre plays. He plays that last note quietly. And like I said on that note, sometimes he doesn't play it at all, and sometimes he plays it as a little drag. So feel free to improvise. Don't fill it up too much though, don't be too busy. It's supposed to be quiet and subtle, this section. So it should be. Something like that, more quieter, that's a phrase. So then it goes on to the next section. Before we go on, let's go back now. I'm going to play you from page 5, the last line of half open hi-hats at the bottom of the page, into part 4, Dearly Beloved, into the next page, page 6, and let's play the first 3 lines of that, so we got an idea of how we go from section to section, and what all that sounds like played up to speed. So we're getting there, don't worry, we're getting there. So then we go on to part 5, Tales from Another Broken Home. Tales from Another Broken Home on page 6. And we've gone from 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, into da 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 da. So the tempo, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, the tempo doesn't change. So this new section, we've got these stabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that 4, that last note there is snare and crash. 3, 4. And then we're into this really cool section. We're riding on the crash cymbal, and he plays this repeating pattern. I'll play it slowly for you. Play it on that closed hi-hat so you can just hear the bass drum and snare drum. We've got 1 E, 2, and 3 E, and 4, and 1 E, 2, and 3 E, and 4, and da 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 da. I just love that. It's so much fun to play. That gets repeated each line. So line 2 of that new section, the difference at the end of the bar, end of that line bar 4, is we have a drum fill. So the bar starts, looking at the second line now, bar 4, 1 E, 2, and then we get 3 E and 3 E and 4 E and 3 E and 4 E and so 1 E, 2 and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E, 2 and 3 E and 4 E. Go into this new section where Tre is playing 1 and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and each bar has a different drum fill. 4 E and is the same every time. It's just where you play those notes. But that first part, dum da dum da dum da dum da dum dum da da. That's the first drum fill, by the way. 4 E and Tre plays the bass drum on 4 and underneath it. So we get 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and the next bar, exactly the same notes, except we play a 4 E and a 4 E and or a 4 E and it doesn't really matter, however you want to play it. with the bass drum pumping on 4 and. So it's just two variations of the same drum fill, just orchestration difference, that's all it is. The last bar we get, so it ends with 4 E and, so get ready with that. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and then we're into page 7. So before we do that, let's now play the beginning of part 5, Tales from Another Broken Home. I'm going to play the first 3 lines of that crash cymbal section for you up to speed. Here we go. So on to page 7, the crash cymbal section continues, and this makes it a little bit easier for me to explain to you now because there's a lot of repeating sections. So that whole section is exactly the same as we just done on the page 6. Same ideas occurring. The only difference is the very last bar of line 4, before we go into that sparser 4-bar line, the very last bar there is 1 and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 and. We play 4 and. Floor tom and bass drum together. A 4 and 1. And it goes into beat 1 there. So da 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 dum dum dum. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 and 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 4 1 2 3 4. Then we're into that fun section again, da 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 da, which gets repeated as we've done previously. The last line goes back to the da 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 da. There's only one slight difference here, bar 2, and I think he plays this. I'm pretty sure I heard a flam. I think he plays. That's up to you. The sticking I'm using there is left hand flam, left, right, left. Give that flam, that gives that section a bit more power, and I think that's what he plays on that one section, so you can include it if you like. The last bar is, is into a flam on the and of 4, because then we go into the piano break where it breaks, strangely enough. And I've written, note, tempo slows down slightly, so we've gone to a slower tempo. We've got 8 bars of just the piano playing. The next line I've written piano stops on bar 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the last 3 bars are sort of the build-up going into the last page. So you can hear the piano stop on bar 6, then you can 3 more bars of rest with the build-up going on. I think the vocals are building up or something towards the end of the song. And then page 8, we've got a whole line of the drum beats, just fair enough. Just go to the last 2 drum fills then, which probably my favourite part of the song really, and certainly the part of the song that I had to think about the most, because I had to try and work out how Tre played this, and luckily there's a recording of him playing it live at a concert, and you can see him use his sticking, so I was happy to find a recording of him playing it, because I couldn't quite work out what sticking he might have been using. It's a little bit weird, it's not how I play it, this is how Tre plays it. He plays groups of 3 between the snare drum, high tom and floor tom. Just takes a little bit of muscle memory. Right, left, right, right. Your right hand's doing a lot of work there. And the bass drum's pumping underneath. So So 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a. It's 4 and on the crash cymbal. That's all it is, but it's just really cool. And the sticking helps you to get around the drums that way. The next bar is, we're still playing 1 and 2 and, but we're playing 30-second notes. That's the tempo. And what he does is he plays groups of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4 and 1. Or 4 and actually, beat 1 there is a snare as well. He ends it with a snare and crash and bass, like that. That drum fill, that 30-second note drum fill again. Try and get the tempo. There we go. I had to work out the relation of the 30-second notes to the 8th notes, and that's the relation. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Put the 2 bars together. And the song ends like that. So just for complete sake, let's do the last 2 bars of the song without the microphone on so you can hear just the drums. Here we go. It's got really dark in here towards the end, so hopefully it's not giving too much of a pink hue to this lesson and putting you off. I must get some decent studio lights for this room, especially during the winter months where it gets darker earlier. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. Hope you found that useful. That was a great lesson for me. I'm glad that I finally finished that. And I'm very happy to give it all the way for free as well. So please do check out the links below if you want a copy of that free PDF. You can download it for free. Check out the previous 2 lessons as well. And then you might also want to consider signing up to become an online member at drumstheword.com. That's what I do these lessons for. I offer a yearly subscription where you sign up to my website and you get instant online access to every single full song video drum lesson I've ever recorded and taught. That's over 250 full songs teaching you famous songs from start to finish. You get the full PDF drum chart. The video lesson teaches the song from start to finish, just like this video. Plus, I give you some freebies as a thank you for signing up, including 3 ebooks containing hundreds of famous beats, fills and solos, loads of little videos I give you for free as well. And then over the year of your subscription, you also gain instant online access to all the new material I upload for my members. So you're gaining all new material over the year as well. If you've got any questions about that, feel free to email me, rob@drumstheword.com, or come on over to my Facebook page or Twitter page if you want to say hi, or if you've got any questions. But until next time, hope to see you soon. Toodle pip, happy drumming to you.